Okay, so I noticed this, and but I mean, it's pretty obvious. My initial reaction to just obviously the headline of the article was that it was what's a polite way of saying hogwash. Uh, Obviously, I don't think that it was, at least initially, I didn't, you know, on a surface level, I did not think that it made sense for Hillary Clinton to run again. And the article says as much, that they also don't think, Chris Cillizza doesn't think that Hillary would run again as well. However, upon pondering it for a little longer, there are actually points that are made in this article that I think have given me pause and made me think that there's a possibility that she could run. First off, the situation with Roe v. Wade is an obvious situation in which it's an obvious situation in which the Democratic Party is going to have some level of revitalization in order to push forward for their 2024 election. That is if the issue manages to maintain itself all the way up to that point, which I highly doubt that it won't, given the fact that politicians have a tendency to not fix things that their constituents see as problems in order to give themselves a issue to run against, like Republicans, and not fix or not pushing against Obamacare. They will actively choose not to pursue measures to correct these things. Well, one of the things that's pointed out in this article is right here. President Biden, who will be 82 shortly after the 2024 election, is simply too old to run again. That's not the entirety of it. I can find the other part. Facing intensifying skepticism about his capacity to run for re-election when he will be nearly 82, the president and his top aides have been stung by the questions about his plans, irritated at what they see as a lack of respect from their party and the press, and determined to tamp down suggestions that he's effectively a lame duck a year and a half into his administration. I actually think that this is a good point. It's not even 2 years into his presidency. And I have my doubts that the man is going to, in the next 2 more years, going to prove himself to be a competent and all-there individual. I think the criticisms towards his age and his mental capacity are obviously have some grounds, not to the degree that some people like to push them, but there are definitely some grounds to question his mental capacity. However, I think that the issue at hand is more about his situation not getting better. I highly, highly doubt that 2 years from now, Joe Biden is going to be hopping and skipping up the stairs to Air Force One and doing a little jig on stage. I don't think that his energy is going to come back and get better. I don't think that he's going to make less gaffes. If anything, the problems that we're seeing that are leading to the criticism from his own party, that were criticisms that were pushed to begin with by the Republican Party, showing that this is definitely a bipartisan issue, that there are people on both sides who both believe in the fact that Joe Biden is not cognitively capable, at least by the time of 2024, to run again. I think that should the criticisms continue to go forward, I don't think that he'll be a viable candidate. And as I said, I don't see things getting better. Given that this is the situation, I mean, look at, what is it? Even including that, and where is the other? The approval rating of Joe Biden. This can change. This can shift. This can become better. But currently, the disapproval rating, 56%, approval rating, 38%, with the real clear politics average. This is one of the greater issues with all of this. It's the real clear politics average for his approval and disapproval rating. Now, if we look at this, we can see that right now it's, let's see, 56% Yeah, I can look up here. 56.9% disapprove. 38.8% approve. I mean, these they flow, right? They're ever changing. They will change throughout his presidency, and if he can push past this and get a better economic situation, I think that there's a good chance that these approval ratings won't matter by 2024, at least the way they look now. However, the situation with his cognitive abilities is not going to change. It is not going to get better. Biden is not going to prove that he is capable in the next 2 years. That's not happening. As you age, your cognitive abilities don't get better. And unless some kind of miracle drug is pushed out, I don't think that he's going to be able to prove himself. And then, given Kamala's performance during the Democratic primaries, I think that any ticket that Kamala Harris is actively on is a ticket that's likely doomed. She is going to pull down any person. I don't see her as a potential candidate for 2024. I think Tulsi proved that. There is no avoiding the heavy criticisms towards that woman. There is no avoiding how badly she can pull you down. It's as a lot of people said, right? Donald Trump, he has a lot of dirt on him, a lot of bad things, but he's a pig rolling around in the mud. He's been filthy from the beginning. To try and play his game is to get down in the mud with him. Yeah, and you're not you don't come out of that unscathed. With Kamala, they've attempted to sort of push her as being this better person. Yeah, the whole, what did she say? Freedom. Yeah, with Kamala, I don't think that you're going to be able to play it off as if she's some good person when it comes down to the dirty game that is politics. They're going to start slinging mud. It's going to happen. And there are legitimate, heavy criticisms for that woman. My God. There are some serious criticisms for that woman. And what is it? Pete Buttigieg is the other one that they talked about. If he's the best you've got, well, I'd be worried too. But I actually think that Clinton is obviously more popular than Kamala will be. I mean, she nearly won the 2016 election, and she claims that was fraud. And she was also, she's a detestable human being. She's, I mean, just the kind of person that she is. But even with all of her flaws and the problems that were there, even with the email scandal, she still managed to nearly win the election. And I think that actually says something. I think that says something for the future. If the economy continues to stay in the gutter, if things continue to stay bad, I think there's a genuine possibility we could see Hillary Clinton run in 2024. It's, I mean, who's to say as the likelihood, but I think that she would be a perfectly viable candidate. Despite her detestable nature and despite all of the controversies surrounding her, she still manages to be surprisingly popular. And as I said, if Biden doesn't manage to pull the economy out of the gutter, that's going to make that woman look all the better. They're not going to want Joe Biden anymore. So it will be, she's not Joe Biden. She's fairly popular. And if Trump runs, it'll just be a rematch. And I think it'll be a whole different kind of rematch, because to begin with, people didn't know what to expect from the man. Not really. Now, we know what to expect from the man. The question is whether she'll be able to grapple with it. If it comes down to it, though, I'd rather anyone win over her. Well, maybe not Kamala. Kamala's just, I think that woman would run this country into the ground. But as an individual running for the Democratic Party, I think that Hillary Clinton actually has a decent chance. Obviously, probably the best chance of any individual in the Democratic Party that would bring people out in droves would be someone like, as everyone always says all over the place, would be Michelle Obama. But I just don't see that woman coming out. I think she has some reason to talk and speak up and make her opinions known, but I don't see her entering the political sphere. I think it's too much work. I think she recognizes that it's too much work. She was that close to the office for that long. I don't think it's something that you necessarily choose to do more than you have to, and she was there for 2 terms. I mean, she didn't have to do the work, but I'm sure she saw what the kind of work was, and they've reached the point where they're enjoying their life. They've got plenty to look forward to. So I doubt she'll come out for that. However, Hillary, maybe she has a grudge to settle. Either way, I think that, there's actually a decent possibility that Clinton could run again. And if she did, she would probably be, out of the available candidates that we have, the best choice in 2024. Thanks for watching.